Even though I have this first-class degree in music journalism, at the end of the day, what you think about this album comes down to you. Hey you, how's it going? My name is Ruby Bryce and welcome back to Rube's Reviews, and today I'm talking about the new Frank Carter album, End of Suffering. Just want to give a quick shout out to Sonic PR for giving me an early copy of this album so that I could get this review up in time for the album to come out. So we're finally here. Frank Carter has finally managed to make a third record with a band. After the events that led to Frank leaving Gallows and Pure Love breaking up, a promise that was made when Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes got together was that they would have their third album, and it's here, End of Suffering, the direct translation for the Buddhist term of enlightenment. In the run-up to this album being released, we've had a few tracks released already, and we've heard quite a few of them live. Crowbar, the lead single, sort of, let us know that this album was obviously not going to be as heavy as Blossom, but we're still going to have the sort of rough edge that we've come to know from Frank Carter. And Anxiety, the latest single, it's full of the soul that spurred this album on. It's a new fan favourite, and it's a tear-jerking sing-along anthem in the waiting. Some other standout tracks for me on this album include Tyrant, Lizard King, which features Tom Morello. The Tom Morello feature is exactly what you would expect from Tom Morello. It's a screeching, noise-driven guitar solo that just screams classic Tom Morello. You wouldn't have to know that Tom Morello was on this to listen to it and think, that's Tom Morello. And the song itself just has the raw power that we've come to expect from Frank Carter. The instrumentation is about as heavy as a Tyrannosaurus Rex stomping down. And that's a quote you can take to the bank. The record ends with a mellow, acoustic-driven, emotional track, which has a guest feature that just took me completely off guard. And I have to say that track is incredible. I won't spoil who the featuring artist is, and I would recommend that if you're watching this review before listening to this album, then don't look up who's in it and just let it hit you. This album has everything that you really need if you're after Frank's more fast-paced but still poppy songs. Heartbreaker is a classic example of that. The sing-along hook at the start of the chorus that goes, "When I Close My Eyes," that is certainly something to experience live. And finally, on a studio album, we have a showcase of the talent that drummer Gareth Grover possesses with a drum solo just before the song mellows down to shoot back up again. Love Games is a slow, genre-mashing, distortion-heavy nod to Amy Winehouse. Angel Wings is a classic example of Frank's poetry. It keeps building up. There's a false climax about halfway through. If this song was a metaphor for sexual intercourse, it would very much fall within the orgasm denial category. Little Devil is a song that has so much live potential. I see it very much as a head-banging, arms doing that thing track that, fans are gonna love. The song really hits home with the lyric, "Wanted your name in lights, but it's carved into a headstone." That sort of theme is very much dotted across this album. To make a summation statement, if Blossom is your favourite Frank Carter record, then you probably won't like this one as much. If Modern Ruin is your favourite Frank Carter record, this album very much builds instrumentally on what was set in stone with Modern Ruin, but like I've said, it takes it a step further, and there's a bit more vulnerability on the lyrics to this record in particular. To mention the elephant in the room, Spray Paint Love is very much a stepping stone to get from Modern Ruin to End of Suffering. Personally, I think this is the best we've seen Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, particularly in terms of studio recordings, and I think this album has Album of the Year potential, at least within the rock scene. This is normally where I'll be saying, if you've listened to this album, let me know what you think, but obviously this album doesn't come out until midnight the day this comes out, so, let me know what you would like to hear from this album based on what I've said and the singles that we already have, and any live experiences you've had. Also let me know which is your favourite Frank Carter record, and once this album comes out, let me know then what you think of it. Yeah. As soon as this album is out, there will be links below to Spotify, iTunes, whatever you get your music on. And as usual, if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, that'd be great. Leave a comment, like I've said, and subscribe if you haven't already. I've been Ruby Price, and I shall see you next time. Adios. Bye. Do you think that being there is subtle enough?